Hey, sports fans, PBZ Sports Chaos. We're back. We get a little NFL predictions coming up right now. We're going to do some picks. We're going to pick 12 games, and fans, you get to go on our Facebook site and pick against us. PB, tell them the rules.
Yep, so pretty simple. Unlike in college, we pick against the spread. This NFL picks will just be straight up winners. All you got to do is pick the winners. Usually we do our traditional pick six, but today we're picking more games. Every game that has playoff implications, essentially, we are going to put on the board in addition to the Patriots game. So it'll be a 12 in total, 12 of the 16 games. You got to beat both PB and Z. If you do qualify to win the PB and Z Sports Chaos shot glass amongst all the winners that beat us, if there are any, you will have to have the highest total, and you will receive a very handsome PB and Z Sports Chaos shot glass.
Nice. Hey, speaking of the Pats, little DYK for you. I just was reading about this. When I've been talking about it for a while. Bill is now officially 61-71 without Brady in his career, 22-24. So he cannot go to 500 this year without Brady. He's 22-24 at this moment. I wonder, PB, Robert Kraft was famous for saying a few years back, if that SOB ever goes under 500, I'll fire his beep. Do you think he does that?
I don't know. I think they got to get some other talent in there first and give him a chance. A non-COVID year, all the backup players on defense. I think they got to give him a real year under his belt before they go that far.
All right.
Coaches ever.
All right, we'll get into our picks. By the way, college, somebody was 5-0 yesterday. I don't know who, but it might have been me.
5-0 against the spread. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. And G-Money, shut up. Ohio State is not going to win the national championship. We'll talk about that next week. All right, let's get into these picks. PB, first game up, Baltimore, Cincinnati. This is a gimme, I think, but what do you think? Who's winning this game?
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a gimme too. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I think Cincinnati upset maybe the Steelers on the last day of the game and kept them out and put Buffalo in or maybe even Baltimore. I can't remember. They beat somebody to get Buffalo into the playoffs for the first time in 20-something years. I don't think they can do that again, though. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win.
So the implications here are Baltimore has to win, but they also need somebody else to lose, correct?
No, Baltimore wins, they're in.
They're in. Winning in. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, all right. This next game, Indy and Jacksonville. It's a gimme as well, but Indy has to win, correct? And somebody else has to lose.
Indy doesn't even control their own destiny. So if Indy wins, they have to hope that either Miami loses or Baltimore loses or Cleveland loses, one of those combinations. So they don't guarantee to get in even with the win. Despite Costanzo being out, and Phillip Rivers will probably end up getting sacked more times than he wants to in this game, but still, the Colts should run away with it. So Indy's the pick here.
Well, yeah, Jacksonville doesn't want to lose that number one pick. They got Trevor in their hands. Why blow it now?
All right, so you're taking Indy too?
I am as well. All right. Another cupcake. New Orleans goes to Carolina. My boy is still not playing. That's why my fantasy picks are dead. The Survivor fantasy's been dead. McCaffrey's out. What do you think? New Orleans and Carolina?
Yeah, and Kamara's out as well. And New Orleans is technically still playing for that number one seed. That's why we have it on the board, which is a big deal because that's the only way you get a bye. There is a scenario in which they can do that. They got to hope Green Bay loses to Chicago, though, which I don't think is going to happen. They may at some point during this game decide to sit people, but still with that pass rush and with Teddy Bridgewater struggling when he's under duress, you're probably looking at a New Orleans victory here. So I'm going to take the Saints in this one.
I'm with you. I got the Saints as well. All right, you mentioned it. You teed it up. Let's talk about it. Green Bay and Chicago. Chicago needs to win, although they still can get in a loss, but they need to win to cement it to get in the playoffs. Green Bay's playing for the number one seed, as you just mentioned. What do you think?
Yeah, they probably have a better chance of getting in with a Cardinals loss to the Rams than they do of their own chances of controlling their destiny, beating Green Bay. You know how I feel about the Bears and how I felt about Chicago all year. They've been playing good football lately with Trubisky there under center, but Green Bay, man, they're the real deal. They're a good team. They got a good defense. Chicago scored 30-plus points, I think, in 4 straight games for the first time in who knows how long. that will end this week. Green Bay will take care of them. So I'm going to take the Packers.
Ooh, I don't see it happening. I think Chicago overwhelms them, especially with the tackle out for this game for Green Bay. I can't pronounce his last name, but he's the highest paid tackle in football. They're going to miss him big time. And Khalil Mack and that team is going to eat up Green Bay, guaranteed.
You're taking the Bears, huh?
I am, yes. All right. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Cleveland needs to win this game, right? Pittsburgh has nothing to play for, correct?
Well, that's the thing. Pittsburgh has nothing to play for. They would have to lose, I think, and Buffalo has to win in order to lose that second spot and move to a third or vice versa, whatever it is. But they're going to be 2 or 3 going into this thing either way. So there's really not much to play for. They're not getting the first round bye. They're definitely getting their home game to start the playoffs. So they're sitting Big Ben. They'll probably end up sitting some other key players on that offense and maybe even on defense. Cleveland's a huge favorite. They're favored by 10.5 in this game. So Vegas knows. And Pittsburgh may even move to their third string quarterback in this game. There's talk of they might let Mason Rudolph play the first half and put a third string in for the second half. Even though I have Baker in my ultimate choke list for this year, he's been choking as of late. He's been single-handedly taking the Browns out of the playoffs. And when I say single-handedly, literally single-handedly with that fumble last week in the Jets, I wouldn't be surprised if they figure out a way to screw up this game and lose it, but I can't pick against them given all the plays that they're going to be sitting in Pittsburgh. So I'm taking the Browns.
And by the way, a little subplot, Mason Rudolph plays against Myles Garrett again. Remember a year ago, right? Oh, this ought to be interesting. I'm taking Cleveland as well. All right. A big one for you, PB, because you picked them as a Cinderella team to make the playoffs. Buffalo and Miami. Dolphins need to win this game to make you look smart. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going for 2. I got my 2 shirt on today. If they lose this game and go 10-6, which is what I predicted them to do, they still might be out of the playoffs. If Cleveland, Indianapolis, and Baltimore all win, they're out if they lose. So they need to win this game. And those 3 games can win. I mean, Cleveland's playing Pittsburgh. We just talked about that game, favored by 10.5. Indy's playing Jacksonville, and Baltimore's playing Cincinnati. So it's very likely that those 3 teams do win, which means a Miami loss and they're out. Here's what this game's going to come down to. Because in a normal circumstance, I would take Buffalo. Buffalo has not really announced what they're doing with their starters yet. Is Allen going to play? Is Diggs going to play? They're in the same situation as Pittsburgh. They can't get the 1 seed. They're going to be either a 2 or a 3. Home field doesn't mean that much, really, when you get right down to it. So what are they really playing for, and who will they sit? I have a feeling they may get a couple reps in at the beginning of the game, but then they're going to sit all their starters, Buffalo will, which will open the door for Miami. Despite Noah Fitzmagic coming in to be the closer, Brian Flores' new quarterback closer theory, that won't be in play because Fitzpatrick is not playing. 2 is going to carry them the whole entire game. He will carry them the whole entire game. Keep in mind, Miami is the number 1 defense in the NFL, points allowed per game. Miami wins this game, makes the playoffs.
Buffalo, believe it or not, they do have a reason to win this game because there's only 2 cities in all of NFL where the home field is important because of weather. It's Green Bay and it's Buffalo. Buffalo wants to play as many home games as they possibly can. Buffalo wins this game.
Okay. All right. So we're different on that one too.
Tennessee, Houston. Tennessee has to win to be in, right? If they lose, they could be out, correct? They're not a cinch, correct?
They're not a cinch either, right? Tennessee could lose the division to if Tennessee loses, Indy wins. Tennessee loses the division, and then I think there's still even a scenario Tennessee loses if depending on who else wins, they could be out of the playoffs altogether. So they could go from a first round home game to being out of the playoffs. And Houston has the potential to beat them. It's a 7.5 point line right now for Tennessee, but you know what? Derrick Henry has run for over 200 yards the last 2 times he played against the Houston Texans. I have a feeling he's going to get I don't think he'll cap 200 again today, but he's pretty close to it. He's going to run wild, and Tennessee's too much on the line there. They're going to win the game.
I'm with you. I get Tennessee as well. All right, this game probably is going to be definitive for one of the teams, but I think, because I've been saying it all year, San Francisco playing Seattle, Kyle Shanahan has done an unbelievable job with all those players out. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, and this game might be closer than you think. And again,
I agree.
Yeah, Seattle's in one of those situations too. They're in the playoffs. They're not getting a,
They have a very remote shot at the number 1 seed, though. They have a very remote shot at the number 1 seed.
They do. There is a scenario, and that's why we have it on the board. There is a scenario if you get to get the number 1. Depending on the flow of that game, we'll see how it goes. But I'm sure they don't want to risk some of their key players either. It's going to be close. But as long as they're playing for something, and Pete Carroll's coaching that team, they're going to play their asses off. And for that reason, I'm going to pick Seattle in this one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I like the San Francisco team. They did a great job despite all those injuries, but I'm going to take Seattle in this one. All right, this is going to be a good one. Originally, we thought none of the quarterbacks were going to play, but Kyler is going to play. Arizona faces the Rams. Big playoff implications. I can't believe the Rams may not make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they may not. They would have to lose this game to Arizona and also hope that Chicago beats Green Bay. So to me, that's unlikely. They could backdoor their way in even with a loss. But here's the thing. This game's in L.A., but yet Arizona's favored by 3. We know Jared Goff is not playing. Their offense could be, and their Cam Akers is out too, and I think Henderson's out too. So they're in really rough shape offensively.
They are.
Defensively, they're still the real deal, and this is what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to, can Jalen Ramsey cover D-Hop? If Jalen Ramsey can cover him and give Donald a chance to get at Murray and disrupt Murray a little bit, that's the key to this game in order for the Rams to win. All that being said, I got to go with my wild card in the NFC, and I said Arizona would get in the playoffs. I picked them at the beginning of the year. I am going to take Arizona in this game to beat the Rams.
I would have taken the Rams if Goff was playing. However, I will say this kid Wolford, I did see him at Wake Forest a couple times in person. He can play some football, but I don't think you can come in like this, ice cold, and win this game. I'm with you. Arizona wins, gets the playoffs. All right. NFC East, the most competitive division in football. Let's talk about this. First one up. We got Dallas going to New York to face the Giants. And this is interesting because these guys play at 4:25. The other game is at 8 o'clock on the Sunday night. We'll talk about that momentarily. So they won't know if one of them wins, if they're in, until almost midnight. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's going to make for an interesting thing because no matter what, Washington's going to be obviously playing to make the playoffs. And knowing that the winner of this game is going to be rooting heavily against them. It's going to be pretty interesting. Dallas is in New York, yet Dallas is still favored by 2 points. I think that's there for a reason. That means they're the better football team, being favored on the road like that. And also something to note here, Dallas has won 7 straight games against the Giants, dating back over 4 years ago since the Giants have beaten the Cowboys. So I'm
at New York, right? At New York, because they lost earlier this year. Dallas lost to them earlier this year when Dak got hurt.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, maybe it's at New York then.
I believe it's at New York, correct.
At any rate, I like the Cowboys to win this game. I really do.
Yes. And will they win the division? Like I said at the beginning of the year, we'll find out in about 1 minute, but I get the Cowboys as well.
We both had them to win the division, so yeah.
Our last game, and this one we're going to pick the score as well, correct?
Yes, that's the tiebreaker, just in case there are 2 people that both beat us and also have the same amount of wins.
So who do you like? Washington at Philly.
You know, this is interesting because right now Washington has 3 of their best players or 3 of their key offensive players all questionable, right? Alex Smith, quarterback. You got McLaurin at wide receiver. And you also have Gibson at running back, all questionable. We don't know if they're going to play, but the way I look at it is they're going to play. I mean, this is they're fighting for their life. Regardless of what happens in that game, they have to win this game. Philadelphia has had its problems. Jalen Hurts has obviously given them a little bit of a spark here lately.
He has. Yes, he has.
But Washington's defense is good, and if those 3 guys end up getting on the field, knowing that they're playing for their lives, I got to give the edge to the Washington football team here. So I'll pick Washington here.
Score.
I will say 24-16.
Okay. We forgot one game. We'll do it momentarily. I got Washington over Philly 17-13. Philly does not want Dallas to make the playoffs. All right. We're going to pick this one. It's not any playoff implication, but as a New England fans, we're going to pick this game. Jets play the Pats. And I hate to say this, but the Jets are going for they're on a 3-game winning streak, correct?
Well, they're on a 2-game winning streak.
They're going for 3 straight.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Man, we just picked 11 very important football games, and I feel like this one is the harder to pick than all of them.
I agree.
I think this is a hard game to pick, and man, the Jets are playing good right now. New England just looks like absolute crap. I mean, I just can't right now. I just can't pick the Patriots. I can't. I'm going to take the New York Jets to beat them. Finish off the season strong with 3 straight wins.
You know what? I hate to admit it, but I'm with you. The Jets, I think, will win this game. We'll talk about this next week, but Bill might be done if he loses this game. We'll see. All right.
So that means that the only games we're different on, you and I, is the Miami-Buffalo game. You got Buffalo, I got Miami. And the Green Bay-Chicago game, I got Green Bay, you got Chicago. All other 10 games, we pick the same.
Yes.
Again, fans, if you want to beat us, you got to go on after we post this show. You got to go onto our Facebook page in the comments section. Just put your 12 teams and make sure you put your final score for the Washington Philly game Sunday night. If you're tied with someone and you don't have a score, the other person's going to win automatically, no matter what score you're in. So make sure you put your score on there too.
And these are nice shot glasses. They are engraved.
And then we'll do a special. Actually, you know what we could do too? We could even have them on our Zoom for the beginning of a show, and we'll do a little shot toast with them.
Oh, whoever beats us. All right, you're in next week. I love it. All right, PB&C Sports Chaos. We are signing off, folks. Have a good one.
Take care.